Now, let's talk about your chart. And you had a chart 2007, 8, 10, 2012. Let's fast forward, and let's talk about 2020 to 2022. You know, we moved from analytics in finance about 10 years ago to analytics in marketing about 5 years ago to analytics in sales about a year or two ago. And now you're talking about predictive analytics, and you integrate with social media, you have more data, you have more insight. So since you have more insight, what's your vision for 2020 and 22?
I wish I could tell you what's my insight for 2012. Look, I think a comment you made at the last conference was a very fair comment, which is that sales is both an art and a science. I think that today the balance is skewed much more to an art, but it doesn't have to be that way. And I think when we speak to salespeople, they actually welcome the fact that there is an easy way, a tangible way for science to help them do better. So I think my prediction is what you're going to see is the balance is going to sway. Now, I love math. We love math. But again, math in and of itself is not the be-all and end-all. Right. There is an art that's also required. But there is no excuse in 2011, let alone 2020, for not applying science into the discipline and the art of sales.
Okay, now let's look at the science, and you can scientifically predict, based on the quality of a conversation that's taking place in the social media space, what a company will be needing and by when they're going to make a purchase. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So if we have more and more information,
yes,
there's one is the predictive part of the information flow. The other one is the sales process needs to change and match the buying process. And Amazon.com does $34 billion in sales without a single sales rep. So, and B2B is learning from B2C. So by what year do you predict that there is more of an interaction between computers and customers, eliminating the role of the salesperson altogether?
2018. No, look, so I'm going to go on a limb and say that I have a little bit different take on it.
Right.
And my different take on it is that twofold. One is that sales is not monolithic. There are different kinds of sales situations. And so there are situations where many of our customers have where they're trying to actively progress some of the lower-end business they're doing, some of the smaller, more consumer-like small business activity, much more to an automated platform. And then there is sort of the middle and the high end, where actually a continuing, and in some cases growing differentiator is around continuing to build trust, build relationships, and how do I actually know you better and help you do better, where the role of the salesperson is actually increasing, but it's changing. It's no longer about I am the best and only repository of my product. I can actually help you succeed more. You will come to me when you have a question about my own business because, me as a salesperson, I've seen that similar situation so many other times. I can give you insight about what works.
But what I see, Andrew, is that in the social media space, customers no longer listen to companies. They listen to their peers. So the more granular the information that they get from their peers, the better their purchasing education or the buying process. So right now there are people saying, Aberdeen predicts or says that by 2012, B2B buyers have completed 70% of the buying steps before they actually meet or contact a salesperson. So if that progression is extrapolated to 2015 and 2020, I know already the customers who shop 98% online and then contact a salesperson and complete the sale.
But so let me again challenge that logic, because just because somebody is going online to start thinking about what they want to do doesn't mean that you as a salesperson and you as a company can't have the ability to anticipate a need. And so yes, they're going online. That doesn't mean that the salesperson couldn't actually give a call a month before that thinking starts to occur and be proactive about positioning themselves for a need that they're pretty sure that company is going to have. And so this is not about, I don't feel, and that's why, if you read the latest article in The Economist, which totally says the notion of salespeople going away is complete myth, is that there's actually a huge amount of proactiveness. And it's about changing of how you think about the salesperson that needs to happen. It's not about waiting until somebody's gone online. It's about how do you actually make the salesperson the smartest person possible to engage with a customer before they even know they have a need for a particular product.
So how do you make a salesperson smarter?
Well, I think that to a large extent, salespeople are actually pretty intuitive. And I think that they're very, very smart. That's why I think, we talk about our salespeople using social media. Yes, they're using it when they see specific benefits.
Okay.
And so if you can make them smarter by transforming enormous amounts of just data that's out there into something meaningful that they can do something with.
So where should they get smarter, on the art side or on the science side?
I think that companies as a whole, if I had to put a dollar in terms of where I get the highest bang for the buck, I'd say certainly there's enormous potential for most companies to doing a lot more in terms of applying science into selling.
Right. Final question. We have a few seconds left here.
Does the mic cut out?
Yes, it will.
It does, okay.
Where does social learning fit in?
So social learning is at least two examples, some from our research and some from our actual product. So social learning is, and one of the gentlemen who actually was trying to come to the conference but had his plane had some issues, he says that social learning is all about, literally just listening to what they feel are smart people who are knowledgeable in terms of the cutting edge of sales, what they're doing, and they don't have to wait for a specific conference to learn about that. That's a very concrete example that they can test and approach and literally share that feedback, in a broader group. It doesn't have to be on Twitter. It could be in a LinkedIn group. The second one is when you're going out and, I think we're talking about this, is how do you put your company's best foot forward for actually helping a customer succeed? So we talked about the example yesterday of when a new deal might come in, right? It's an example of not using the standard territory model, but actually using, hey, who has the best connection to this customer? Right. I think it's the same thing. It's about what do you do to put your best foot forward. If it's about the best presentation that somebody in your company has used in a similar situation, use it. It shouldn't be a problem to go through 20 different versions of PowerPoint. What's really worked? What are the best kinds of talking points that will resonate with a given specific audience? Again, don't go with a generic pitch. If you're talking to financial services and banks, use their lingo. Think about what really matters for them and what's the most relevant way you can speak to them.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate your
Thank you.
illuminating insights.